lead Hampshire by just 59. Danny Briggs, 8 not out. Did a good job last night of trying to get himself out on a couple of occasions, but he's still there. George Garrett is 0 not out. Keith Barker, 4 for 23. Mohammed Abbas, 3 for 31. And a couple of wickets for Liam Dawson as well. That is the situation as we head into the last day of this game. And once more, the sunshine is out and there is hardly a cloud in the sky. I'll say it once more. Actually, the last couple of days we've had some hazy cloud, but that has all disappeared and it's a bright blue scene overhead. Your commentary team has slightly reduced for this day. May reflect a little bit about how much play we may or may not get. There's other factors as well, but you've got the ever reliable duo of myself, Kevin James, and next to me from BBC Commentary on Warwickshire and from BBC West Midlands, it's Clive Eking. Clive, good morning.
Good morning. It was a good morning to my laptop started arguing with me. Yeah, look, there's no pretense about what's likely to happen here. I spoke to Will Rose last night. Of course, he's doing the standard things. And well, you never know. But what he really said was that we'd like to take 1 or 2 scalps on the way. They know they're going to lose. They know they will lose. If they can get a couple of wickets on the way, that'll be quite nice. Yeah,
that's always your thought, isn't it? Really. Yeah, I must admit, I did look at a couple of comments on the BBC Sport website last night from him. I thought they battled really hard yesterday and actually did get themselves into a situation, especially when McAndrew and Burgess were going along nicely and they didn't look like getting out, that you thought actually at one stage they were going to get at least to 100 lead, maybe a bit more.
Yeah. When the big partnership between McAndrew and Burgess was going, the problem is, and it's a reflection of how good the bowling was, they couldn't score runs. So, they only averaged 2 and over. Now, if they'd been scoring 3 and over, which is, sort of standard, they'd be 150 ahead now, and we'd have a potential game. But the bowling was good, and because of that, they, despite occupying time in the crease and showing some fight, they haven't actually got past their first innings total.
Yeah, do you know what? It was interesting you said that, and I know that you said that yesterday as well. And after the game, I was just chatting to Jimmy Adams, former opening batter, who now is one of the main coaches here. And we were just chatting about the bowling yesterday, and he said exactly that, without even being prompted. He said, you know what? He said, what we're good at is that even if we don't take wickets for long periods, sides just don't move on that quick. And yesterday, I think, emphasised exactly why Hampshire are in this position, second in the table, purely because if they don't take wickets for an hour and a half, a side might be 80 for 2. They might get to 110 for 2 in that hour and a half. I mean, that's a slight exaggeration, but you know what I mean. And then they know they lose another couple of wickets, and all of a sudden they're 110 for 4, and it doesn't look great at all. So, as opposed to being 154, and you're right. And yesterday, that was a prime example of a team not moving far forward, even when a partnership was being put together.
I was bumped into Alex Davis in the bar last night, and he was saying, "I bet you weren't too complimentary about my dismissal." I said, well, no, really, what we said was it was such a rare bad ball. You were never really going to go for it. It was just unfortunate that it went straight to a fielder. But when you bowl such few bad balls, batters have got to have a go at it and take a risk. But
did he agree with that? Did he
I think yes, pretty much. Said.
He looked distraught.
Well, he was saying last night if I'd lasted a bit longer, we might have been 7 down now rather than 9, and still with some sort of chance. But there we are.
He did battle hard, didn't he? And
he did.
I love the way he kept kicking the ball away to Liam Dawson. I think one of the best examples of how to play a left-arm spinner bowling over the wicket into rough to a right-hander, and how you do not need to play if you do not want to play. And I thought he was absolutely brilliant at that, apart from the rest of his batting. I mean, at the end of the day, in that situation, you don't score 46, and he did occupy the crease for a long time. Get to that without actually batting, and I think I've seen him score quicker, and I'm sure you have.
Oh yeah, he normally
is, isn't he? Yeah.
Well, actually, he's a player who's prepared to adjust. In the T20 this season, there was a sense that Bears were only going to play one way. I remember the game away at Durham when they were chasing a modest target. He was the one batter who actually did just rein himself in a bit, and eventually got out to attacking shot at 49 not out, having already got the team in a position where they were clearly going to win. So that was impressive, actually. He showed a willingness to bat the match situation, which I'm not sure the Bears always did in the blast.
So just a reminder then, Warwickshire resuming on 2:12 for 9. They've already occupied 102 overs in this second innings, but they lead by just 59, just waiting for the umpires to come down the steps, because the Hampshire team, as you would expect, have already congregated at the top end of the ground, just in front of their changing rooms, right by the rope. And even the two Warwickshire not-out batters, Danny Briggs and George Garrett, are primed and ready. And it's just the umpires that we need to see, the two umpires for this game. Just as a reminder, Stephen O'Shaughnessy and Russell Warren. Was Russell Warren, was he the former Northants player? Steve O'Shaughnessy,
yes,
former Lancs, that's right.
Former Lancashire and briefly Worcestershire as well, Steve O'Shaughnessy.
Oh, of course, yeah, I remember you saying Worcestershire as well. Yeah. I went on a tour to the West Indies, England under 19 with Stephen O'Shaughnessy. So, yeah, I managed to have a quick chat with him the other Thursday night, I think it was, back in the hotel. The umpires usually stay in the hotel here where we are.
I got on a lift with him this morning. He didn't recognise me. It was a long time ago. I interviewed him, very long time ago.
Yeah. He doesn't look a lot different, actually, Sean, though. I have to say, he's one of those guys that seems to sort of belie his age a little bit. But anyway, he is there, just waiting for Russell Warren. And then we will get things underway. I have to say, without sounding too biased, I think I and Hampshire people on the ground, and there's slightly less people here today than there was yesterday, but you'd expect that because there is a potential for this game not to go as far as lunch. I think Hampshire will, I don't know, it'd be interesting to see if it's about a 60-run lead, maybe even 70, how Hampshire go about it, because it's not easy to score if the bowlers get it in the right areas. This wicket is dead. There is no life in it. There is no pace in it. It's very, very dry, and you think, oh yeah, it must be turning, but it really is only turning a bit out of the rough, and even then it's not exaggerated turn. And if the spinners bowl like Liam Dawson does round the wicket to a right-hander, the area he's pitching on, there's nothing there for him. That's why he bowled a lot of overs yesterday over the wicket, trying to find the rough outside the right-hander's leg stump and just try and make something happen. And actually Liam Dawson has the ball in his hand, so it looks like he's going to kick things off from our commentary end, the northern end here at the Ageas Bowl. And just to repeat, if you're just joining us, because I know some people do on the live picture feed when they realise that a result is imminent, or on the BBC Sports online website, we are 4 floors up on the hotel, and we are wicket to wicket. We have an absolutely superb view, just like you have on the live picture feed. And if you want to pick up the live picture feed, that's going direct to the Hampshire Cricket website, which is going to the Warwickshire Cricket website. And if you so wish, there is a BBC Cricket app, which is free to download, and you can carry it around with your phone. You can walk around up and down the street, and people can look at you, and when you cheer a wicket or cheer a run, and they'll say, what on earth is that all about? 212 for 9. Dawson will continue over the wicket. He's bowling to the former Hampshire left-arm spinner Danny Briggs, former Sussex as well. And here we are then to get day 4 underway. 3 men around the bat as Dawson bowls. Briggs on the back foot, plays that into the ground, past short leg, which is a Narin Donald. And we are underway. At Sonnet Sport on the tweets, if you want to get some in. As I say, it might be quick. It might have all morning. Might have a little bit in the afternoon. Who knows? SonetCricket@gmail.com on the emails. Briggs tries to sweep, gets it off the bottom of the bat, and the ball just trickles out on the offside. There is a man on the sweep, away to our right. Dawson just pointing to him, actually getting him in a couple of yards. So 212 for 9. Dawson again. Bowls, Briggs forward, gets it in sort of the middle of the bat as it just goes out square on the offside, and there is no run. There are 2 fielders for the reverse sweep in anticipation, quite deep, both behind square, away to our left, and that man on the sweep as well on the leg side. Briggs on the back foot just steers that to one of those on the offside, Keith Barker, who's about 2/3 of the way towards the boundary. Comfortable single for Danny Briggs, and that lead increases to 60 now. Bright sunshine. It's absolutely been a wonderful 4 days to play cricket in. It has been very muggy Very muggy indeed. Maybe not quite so this morning, although of course we're still fairly early. Got noticeably muggy as the afternoon went on yesterday. Field's changing because George Garrett is a left-hander. He's yet to get off the mark. He's faced 5 deliveries. There are 2 men on the leg side, short leg and, wow, silly mid-on, and 2 on the off, both behind square, gully and first slip. And there's a man on the drive, Abbott, on the leg side as well, as Dawson bowls forward. Is Garrett comfortably forward there as he just prods that out on the offside. There's still a deep cover point in case Garrett gets the reverse sweep out. I have no idea if he plays those. Dawson bowls, and that's just played forward quietly on the onside. Ball just about makes Carl Abbott, and that's the first over of the morning completed. Potentially 95 overs left in the day. I think we'll all be pulling their hair out. Well, Hampshire fans will be pulling their hair out if we get to that point, but I think Warwickshire will be cock a hoop. 2:13 for 9. The lead is 60, and just that 1 run added this morning. And Clive Eakin is back. Adrian Kirk has tweeted at Summit Sports, obviously a Hampshire cricket fan. Let's have this one quickly, please. The Tour de France must be watched later. All right, well, we'll try and accommodate
sorry to
that.
inconvenience you. Warwickshire haven't discussed the declaration yet, I don't think. As,
no, not around the Tour de France.
Comes in. Barker been applauded by the crowd. He's been terrific as ever, 4 for 23 in his 18 overs. And he's going to bowl to Danny Briggs. 2 slips in place. And Briggs gets behind that one, plays it to mid-on. Field spread out. They're trying to give him a 1. It seems a bit pointless to me, but that's cricket these days, isn't it? Briggs will probably take a single in the 4th ball of the over. I don't quite understand the need for this cat and mouse in this match situation. Just try and get him out. There are 2 slips in place, but anyway, Barker comes into bowl. A left arm around the wicket. Oh, he's appealing for an LBW here. It sounds like there's a bit of bat on that, but whether hit the pad first, we can't really tell because he's got his back to us. But, I'm not sure. Anyway, not out is the verdict.
I think he might have had to have got a bit of bat on that, I think.
Yeah. So 2:13 for 9. Mini target for Warwickshire. Can they improve on their first innings score? They're 4 runs behind that at the moment. As Barker comes into bowl to Briggs. They get a bit of an inside edge, and he's going to get the single. 3rd ball of the over. George Garrett is on a pair. His career average, first-class average, I think was 32 coming into this game. With what that was with 1 dismissal, so it halved when he was out for naught. I think he's batted 4 innings. He's had 2 dismissals, so he's averaging 16.
Okay.
So it'll drop quite significantly again if he's out for naught.
Just looking up how he was out in the first innings. Caught behind off Abbott. Last wicket.
Well, do you know what? That's interesting you should say that. I'm going to double check it now on the scorecard because, well, it puzzled me. That's left us no run. I'm sure it says, and I looked at it and I thought, I don't remember it being that. I'm sure it says he was bowled.
Ah.
No, I seem to remember an appeal and a finger going up. So it confused me as well. Let me just double check whether that still says that on the whether they might have changed it now. Hang on. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's down as bowled.
Okay.
Yeah. Must have maybe just clipped the stump, clipped the bail, and they were perhaps pleading for a catch, and only later maybe they transpired that they knocked a bail off or something. Anyway, played that into the onside, and there's no run.
So if he edged it onto his stumps and then Ben Brown caught it, there was absolutely whatever, there was no doubt he was going to be out. Okay.
So here he comes in. The ball. It's nicely clipped off his toes. Garrett, he'll avoid the pair. Plays that into the deep. Even keeps the strike with that single. Warwickshire get their 3rd run of the morning. Oh, Hampshire's batters will be worrying now. The target will be 63 now. It's the lead. Warwickshire lead is 62.
Yeah, I spoke to Keith Parker last night, and one thing he did say was he says he was definitely going to make sure that James Vince bowled him first up this morning. Chance for a fifer. And I just said, you know, even now, I mean, he's been with us, what, 3 years, I think? Hampshire, something like 3-4 years, 3 years. And I said, you know, getting wickets against your old team, you know, does it feel different? And he said, well, actually, most of the team's changed already in the time that I've been away. And, I think sometimes you forget just how quickly things change in professional sport. You look back to a scorecard even 3 or 4 years ago, and the number of names that have changed for whatever reason, come into a side, gone from the side. Dawson will bowl over the wicket then to the left-hander Garrett. 3 men round the bat, 1 each side, plus the slip. Just flicks that away into the ground, half fielded by Donald. Nothing happening out of the rough yet for Liam Dawson, who has 2 for 39, starting his 26th over. Got the 2 left-handers out yesterday. Mosley and Will Rhodes was ones that turned sharply out of the rough. That's pushed square out on the offside, and both trapped LBW on the back foot right in front. That was in the afternoon yesterday. So left-handers, of course, have the most trouble with that rough outside there off stump. As Dawson bowls. Well, that's turned, and it's beaten the batter, and it's beaten Ben Brown. That's the first one that's really turned out of the rough this morning, and that is 4 byes. That's a nightmare for the keeper, that. Nightmare for the batter, but nightmare when you're standing up as a keeper.
Danny Briggs and the non-strikers then saying, yep, I can bowl this all out for 50.
Well, that was the other thing I did jokingly say to Keith at the end, I said, oh, you know, it's 59 at the moment, might be a few more, you know, knock those off, have a bit of lunch and go home. He said, no, it won't be that easy. Okay. Well, he's right. I mean, you know, it's well, in any 4th innings of a game, it always is hard, isn't it? Forward, plays it out on the offside, simply because, yeah, if Danny Briggs does come on and just bowl continuing in the rough, then that, you know, immediately causes a bit of problem.
Yeah, they just have to be sensible about it. The temptation to go and hit some 4s and wrap it up quickly, they need to avoid that and just play properly. Yeah, and however long it takes, take that time.
Forward is Garrett into the ground on the offside. I think the disappointing thing, maybe from a seamer's point of view, is that the wicket is still playing pretty flat and lifeless and dead, isn't it?
The disappointing thing from Warwickshire point of view is there isn't a hint of a storm cloud in the sky.
Not a hint of anything other than blue. That's flighted, and that's driven off a thick outside edge. That'll go to backward a point, and that'll be another single for Garrett, who doubles his total. He's on to 2, 220 for 9, and the lead now is 67.
So they have improved on their first innings score, just about. Small comforts. Again, Will Rhodes admitted that it's been pretty indifferent this season, so they've played some good cricket at times, they've played some very bad cricket at times. Overall, it's been ordinary. 5 games to try and, what's either 5 and a bit games to try and improve, but I mean, it gets easier next time though, and you only got to go to the Oval and play Surrey, so
is that all?
No problem.
Are you doing that one?
Kent looks like a win. No, I'm not actually. Richard Wilford is I think heading for the Oval, and then Kent at home feels like a really big game, because Warwickshire are looking over their shoulders a bit, there's no doubt about it, in terms of the relegation. Barker into bowl, and that's played nicely by Garrett, but doesn't beat the fielder at mid-wicket, so he doesn't get a run for it. I mean, I think you feel Gloucestershire probably are likely, and Warwickshire still got to play them, but they're likely to take one of the relegation places. But the other one could still be up for grabs. Kent, we'll watch Kent with interest. Actually, Northampton done well in the second innings, 288 for 6, lead Kent by 256.
Yeah, Gloucestershire's game all over, wasn't it, yesterday against Essex?
Kent could easily get at least 8 points for the draw there. That's a bouncer, and goes above Garrett. The days we don't bowl bouncers at number 11 so long since gone.
I remember, remember Norman Cowan? The fast bowler at Middlesex. I remember him saying that. Middlesex against Hampshire at Uxbridge. And he walked out without a helmet, and everybody said, what the hell are you doing? And he said, Malcolm will pitch it up to me. First ball, glanced him on the head.
In comes Barker to bowl. He turns that round. Garrett, they're going for a quick singles. It looks a bit tight. Garrett going to the non-striker's end. He gets so they might even get a They probably could have got an overthrow, but they haven't gone for it. Settled for the 1. 221 for 9. So, sorry, I've got a couple of early Yorkshire wickets. 67 for 2 at Scarborough. So I probably haven't given up all hope. Yorkshire lead by 73. Lancashire declaring overnight after that triple century from Keaton Jennings. Haven't had any success against Somerset so far. Somerset 11 without loss. Barker into bowl. Wraps him on the pads there. Appeals plaintively. The not out call for the umpire must have come very quickly because Barker's hands quickly dropped down by his side.
I think there was inside edge onto the pad. I think. I don't know. I heard 2 noises.
What else have we got today then? England Lions in action against South Africa at Worcester. Later on, it's the second ODI at Lords. Men's ODI. And in comes Barker to bowl, and that's pushed onto the onside for no run. I mentioned Northampton, Kent, Yorkshire, Surrey, Derbyshire, Durham. Okay, so whether Derbyshire are willing to set Durham a target, I guess. 344 for 6. They lead by 331 at Chester Street. Pretty certain draw at Hove, where Leicestershire are 545 for 4. In reply to Sussex, 588. Bowlers and fielders will have enjoyed that match.
And the commentators.
One interesting one potentially at Cardiff. Barker comes in to bowl. Oh, that's a wide delivery which is switched at by Briggs. Bit of a wild shot. He misses. 221 for 9. Warwickshire's hanging on in there a little bit. They lead by, 68. Glamorgan set Notts 455 to win. But Notts are 23 for 2 at Cardiff.
Gosh, we're in danger of having indigestion after lunch, having to come back, rush back from the other side of the ground. You mentioned the table, yeah, the live table at the moment. Gloucestershire at bottom with 55. Then comes Somerset, who are currently in action, 64. Northants above them with 87. Kent with 90. Then Warwickshire with 95. You guys are all right. You've got quite a big gap over Somerset. There's Dawson. Inside edge onto the pad of Garrett, but it's safe.
Somerset are probably going to get 8 points for a draw today.
So
to add to that.
Well, that's
and they got a game. No, they have the same number of games, isn't it? So yeah.
No, Somerset played 1 less than you, I think.
Yeah, so they have got a game in hand. Yeah.
Forward Garrett, that'll be a thick outside edge as it runs down towards third man. Fuller's after it, loses his sun hat as he does so, picks it up just inside the rope. They'll run 3. Briggs is running to the danger end. Have to hurry there, the stumps are broken. And the umpire at the square leg, Russell Warren, says no. But that was close. Last couple of yards there, Danny Briggs suddenly realised that he had a bit of a race to get behind the line. But he's home. Every run at this stage for me is quite vital. It's 71 the lead, but from what we've seen this morning, not a lot happening on this wicket at the moment, and there hasn't been a lot happening on the wicket. Full stop.
I'm not even going to be interested until I get at least 100 ahead, and even then it'll be a very long shot.
It's funny how we also was kicked away there by Danny Briggs. I know it's funny, isn't it? How obviously we're slightly biased to our sides, and why shouldn't we be? But so you always think, 71 run lead, okay. You're sort of thinking, no, nothing. It's funny, isn't it? How we always have a slightly different perspective from our side's point of view. Briggs on the back foot as he nudged that into short legs' hands. It went very quickly, very low. That may have been a half chance because it seemed to go very quickly to Donald, but almost too quick, even though it was straight at him. Yeah, I think that was a catch.
I think he's taken 3 catches so far, so he's not going to.
That was a chance.
Catch everything.
Here comes Dawson again, forward. That's a thick outside edge. Briggs wants a single, but it's going towards Barker at backward point, no run. So I think we'll put that down as a chance, but it's one of those as a short leg. You have your hands there, and then before you know it, the ball's hit your hand and just bounced out before you've had a real chance to even know what's happened. I'm talking like I knew that I was a good short leg. I wasn't. I was absolutely terrible. Here comes Dawson, bowls. Briggs tries to drive, gets wrapped on the pad on the onside. End of the over, 224 for 9. The lead is 71.
Well, that's the thing to be at short leg, isn't it? Sam Hayes made the terrible mistake of being good at it, and he's still doing it now, even as a senior player.
There is no prizes, I don't think, for fielding there. Well, there are prizes, and they're not the sort of, they're painful prizes.
So just trying to see how many points Somerset are going to get out of their current game if it is a draw. They probably haven't done, no, in fact they actually got 1 bonus point less than Warwickshire. But they will close the gap by 7 points if they draw and Warwickshire lose, which is the most likely scenario. Should put them to within 23 points with the game in hand. So, yeah, Warwickshire's got work to do if they want to avoid relegation, even though, of course, we don't even know for certain that relegation is going to happen. I believe the second division clubs have been promised, as Barker comes in to bowl to Garrett, plays up to mid-on, there's no run. I believe the second division clubs have been promised whatever they do for next season, finishing the top 2 in the second division this season will mean something. It will have.
Okay.
Quite what exactly? We don't know, and we don't know.
Have you heard maybe the top division split?
Yes,
with the 2 coming
that's right.
up?
Two, potentially 3 divisions of 6, of which 2 of them would effectively be the top division.
Getting a load of rubbish.
Parker comes into bowl. That's driven. That's a nice shot from Garrett. That's gone through the offside. It's been chased, but I think the ball's going to get there comfortably. And Garrett's batting quite nicely here. He's on to 10. Oh, you're practicing your golf. Are you hoping to get on the course this afternoon?
No, I'm not, no. I know. I don't know why I did that, actually. I think I'm trying to put that shot out of my mind, really, because I thought, actually, that was a really good shot. And actually, if a number 11 can play a shot like that and actually look really confident, I'm thinking, a wicket's not coming anytime soon.
Well.
So I was trying to do something else.
So he's on. The lead's on to 75. I suppose psychologically you get it to 100, and you sort of have something to bowl at. Teams have been bowled out for less than 100 before. It's not going to happen, but Barker comes in to bowl left arm over. And that's another nice try, but this time hits the ground and is well fielded one-handed by Barker off his own bowling. So there's no run. 228 for 9.
Some nice straight drives there from Garrett. I mean, he's still young, isn't he? He's still sort of in the early stages of his career. Was he 22?
Yeah, hasn't played for a couple of years because he's had his injury issues.
I'll tell you what, I mean, you know, if he's playing in 3 or 4 years' time, I don't think he'll be batting number 11. It's nice straight, isn't it? Nice straight flow of the bat.
Yeah. He comes into bowl. It's a bouncer. Maybe he'll fancy his chances of pushing Ollie Honey and Dolby back to number 11 next time. He
sets up nicely at the crease. Looks nice and still. Nice, as I say, takes the bat back nice and straight and hits through the ball nice and straight.
Still only 22 years of age, but he's had a contract at the end of the season, so playing for a contract. Didn't get a wicket bowling. I thought bowled particularly at the top. His first spell I thought was very impressive. That one he hits in the air as a leading edge, should come off the shoulder of the bat, I think, as he tried to turn it on the leg side, looped up in the air, but didn't go anywhere near a fielder. So a false shot and gets away with it.
If only there was a short, silly point there that you see all the time.
So this is his 4th first-class game. Prior to this game, he must have had a 20. Actually, I think I tell. I think he was averaging 16. He'd been out twice. He had 32 runs and been out twice. So I don't think they've added his current score to that average. 24 is his highest score anyway, thus far. And that one's going down the leg side. He lifts his bat out of the way. It's taken by the wicketkeeper. It's the end of the over. Well, Warwickshire have been thoroughly professional about it and carrying on. 228 for 9. They lead by 75.
So they've added, what, 18 this morning? A couple of tweets. Jacob Norton at Sun Sport. We were talking about Garrett in the first innings and his dismissal and whether he was caught behind or bowled. And Jacob said, yeah, actually looking back at the video, Garrett was bowled in the first innings. That's right, we were just saying. You all thought it was caught, and it seems that the umpire initially thought so too. He puts up the finger.
Yeah, that's what I was actually walking around. I remember I was walking around the ground at the time.
Yeah. But, and Jacob just says you could see one of the bails was off afterwards, so yeah, I guess we couldn't see that. Again over the wicket to Dawson. That's played off the back foot by Briggs, and it plays back to the bowler. Mike Martin at Solar Sport talking about the Hampshire batting lineup. Mike says, my brother was asking about the Hampshire averages, and it made me realise that numbers 6, 7 and 8 are averaging higher than the Hampshire openers. Dawson bowls, sweep there from Briggs. That's a sweet shot. That's right out in the middle of the bat. That's gone for 4, back at a square leg, only just behind square. And Briggs will move on to 14. 232 for 9. The lead now is 79. If we want to win the title, we need more. Although Holland could be my man of the match here. That's right, he made 99. You've got to remember, though, that numbers 6, 7 and 8 are usually, I mean, obviously this is a generalisation, are coming in when the ball is so soft it's doing nothing, whereas the openers, of course, are getting it when it's doing loads, as Briggs just tucks that away behind square on the offside, no run.
It's amazing how often it happens. My colleague Mike Taylor used to keep a note of it, how often from Warwickshire over the years, the second half of the innings has produced more than the first. In fact, it's happened in this innings, 114 for 5, and they've scored 118 for the last 5.
Another sweep there from Briggs, and it's the same result. Played that shot nicely in this over. Just giving Dawson 1 or 2 things to think about. Already James Vince is pointing at 1 or 2 fielders. Do you want this man in here? Do you want to take him from there? And I think that has brought a response in that Ian Holland has gone from silly mid-off and he's being put out on the leg side. Briggs moves on to 18, 236 for 9. Danny Briggs again, he's annoying Hampshire.
Yeah, it was a
83.
stand of 30 now for this last wicket.
Just keeps us here a bit longer, which we're all pleased about, really, because we've actually got nothing else to do. Here comes Dawson and bowls, and at least it justifies lunge. That's pushed out quietly on the offside by Briggs off the front foot.
Warwickshire first innings, 95 for 5, ended up 217 all out. So again, the bottom half of the innings, both innings, has outscored the top half.
You know, and listen, people can play further down the order, of course they can, but it has a lot to do with the ball, and especially this year of all years. Briggs pushes that into the gap at extra cover, and that'll be a single. It's Abbas there, I think, fielding at wide at mid-off. So 237 for 9 is the Warwickshire second innings total, having started at 212 for 9, and the lead is now 84.
Things are changing coaching, haven't they? Maybe in past years they used to not worry about the Tailenders batting. Now they take a view, well, you're going to have to bat, you might as well try and bat well and learn how to bat. So you don't see many genuine number 11s anymore. More's the pity. It used to be great fun. Yep. 237 for 9. So
used to love the way they slogged at times.
Exactly, yeah.
As long as they only slogged a couple and then got out.
It's not more entertaining than watching an opening batter who's just blocking everything. 237 for 9, then Barker comes into bowl to Danny Briggs, who's on 19. And we just took a late decision to get his bat out of the way of that one, Briggs. The right decision in the end, but he just a fraction late with it. Dom Sibley reckoned he did about 17 laps of the ground last night. I asked him. It was all designed to up his steps. He's supposed to do a certain number of steps a day, which when you're staying in the hotel on the ground, and the only actual walking they have to do is once across the ground. So I've done even less than that. Barker comes into bowl, and that's clipped around to mid-wicket by Briggs, and will beat the despairing dive of the fielder. That's a really nicely timed shot from Danny Briggs. He's on to 23, and this will be getting, not worrying for Hampshire, but just a bit annoying. 88 is the lead now. Certainly a chance for Warwickshire bowlers to maybe get a wicket or 2 to add to their career tallies.
Hampshire 10 for 2, then all of a sudden it gets...
It'll have to be 10 for 5 before I get interested. Barker comes into bowl, and that's pushed out. Well, that's what will happen. It always happens in these sort of games. They will be. There'll be about 15 for 3, and we'll get excited, and they'll end up winning by 6 wickets. That's what usually happens in these sort of games, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, I mean, normally I would think, okay, well, that is an interesting lead. I mean, it is, but the wicket is just absolutely dead for the seamers. So you're going to get the odd one that will just shape a bit and seam, but I mean, not a lot.
Barker into bowl, driven by Briggs. There's no run. Well, if it's like the first innings, at the moment they're going to win by 6 wickets because they were 78 for 4, but then 215 for 5. So there we are.
I think 150. I would start to think that it was seriously interesting.
Yes.
Because
then also time becomes a slight factor.
Yeah. It's not been the quickest scoring game, has it?
A long, long way from that, though. Barker comes into bowl, and that's just played down to third by Danny Briggs for a single. I'm still looking. There must be a storm cloud somewhere in this heat. That would be funny with Hampshire needing 5 to win. They started hosing down.
I don't think there's any rain on any radar for the foreseeable future, is there? I think we're going to be. I think we'll be getting 4 days of play in, for at least for the next week or so, aren't we?
Maybe we'll get a swarm of bees or something to slow the game up.
Finals day is going to be hot.
Yeah, Monday's the worst one. Monday we've got to really take care.
Sure.
Sorry, it's you. I beg your pardon.
No, it
is me. That was a bouncer. Which all right. Garrett gets out of the way of it. There's no run. 2:42 for 9. So we are prolonging the game. I think we are looking beyond lunch now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Unless Hampshire really go for it. I don't think it'd be sensible for them to really go for it. So the lead is 89. Garrett's on 10, Briggs on 24, and credit to these two, they're doing a job. I don't think it's going to change the result of the match, but they're doing a decent job here. They've added 36 now.
Yeah. Simon Young, who's tweeted at Solent Sports, just quoted me a little earlier, saying at least it justifies lunch. That's right. I felt a bit guilty actually putting a lunch order in earlier, just before the start, as if you needed an excuse to justify lunch, says Simon. Safe travels to everyone off to Birmingham tomorrow. The team are going up there tomorrow. Here's hoping the curse of Edgbaston can be a vanquish. We've even got some cold water coming in, so even the hotel staff are thinking we're going to be here for a while.
Yeah.
So Dawson will continue, and he's bowled. Oh, no, we're going to get a ball change. Are we? Yes, we are. Well, I'm not surprised in the context of this game and every other game this season, but also because the ball has done absolutely nothing this morning, and I mean nothing.
I'm not sure the ball's required to do something, though, is it?
I had a chat with Beefy last night in Beefy's, and the first thing he said to me was about the balls. He said, "You look at the ball from about 2018, and now you look at the balls of today." He says, "Useless."
That's Lord Beefy you're talking about.
Lord Beefy, yeah, he was here last night in his own restaurant.
Oh, I should have come down earlier. I came down for a drink late, but
he was probably dining by then. So this is definitely going to be a ball change.
I did know him when he was at Worcestershire for a while.
Did you? Yeah, did you interview him?
Times? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I interviewed a few times. I was actually, when Graham Hick reached a particular landmark, was it a certain number of first-class hundreds? Was it 100 hundreds or something?
Okay.
And I was actually, I wasn't with Worcestershire, I was actually at Taunton. I think it must have been with Warwickshire, and he was commentating.
All right.
And I grabbed him to, because obviously he played with Graham Hick for years, and he was very good. Did a nice little piece with me about Graham Hick.
Yeah, he pops down from time to time this way.
Well, this is not going to make the game any quicker, is it?
I think we better order tea.
Let's have a look. Oh, Yorkshire 3 down now. Sorry, I've just given themselves an outside chance there. Yorkshire 79 for 3, lead by 85. But the good news from Hampshire's point of view, not particularly from Warwickshire's point of view, is that Somerset so far have not suffered any loss, although they haven't scored many runs either. They're 16 without loss, still 162 behind Lancashire's first innings total. Northants are batting on. They lead Kent by 281, 6 wickets down. Derbyshire are batting on, slightly surprisingly. They lead Durham by 362 at Chester Street. They're 7 wickets down. And of course Leicestershire batting on, 581 for 4, trailing Sussex by 7. And Glamorgan haven't got any further wickets, Notts are 42 for 2, chasing 455, or set 455 to win.
It's almost worth switching off this game and having a listen to the commentators from Hove and wondering how on earth they're talking that game up.
Yes.
242 for 9. I tell you what, that's when they earn their money. Here's a reverse sweep there, and he's wrapped on the pad. Big shout, mainly from Dawson, but again, because he's coming over the wicket, very difficult to give.
Well, he's pitching outside leg stump, surely. Yeah, Eve.
Yeah.
And, you know, it had that look about it, but if you pitch an outside leg stump...
It's difficult, isn't it? It's got to be almost a Yorker to get a chance. So Danny Briggs, frustrating Hampshire, 24 not out. Here's Dawson again, length ball, flicks that away past Donald. He'll get a single, moves on to 25, and that lead is now 90. It was 59 at the start of the day. Peter Chapman, who's in Penzance, but that's nice down there today, and probably has been for the last few days, has emailed silentcricket@gmail.com. He says Hampshire's struggles with the Tailenders probably cost them the championship last season, and it's a threat to their challenge now. Well, it is difficult. It is just difficult when the ball's soft to get the lower order out. You've got to work really hard. Harder, probably. It's played into the ground by Garrett. Pushes that ball to short mid-wicket.
You shouldn't be worrying yet, honestly.
No.
That's the supporters for you. Always worrying, always worrying. Yeah. You're not in any danger yet. No. Another 50 runs, maybe, even then it'll only be a slight danger, I think.
Oh, he's edged and put down by Vince. That's gone. Another chance. It was a difficult one because Vince has actually had to dive behind Ben Brown. But it was an edge, it was catchable height, and that was a chance. Oh, it was not helping.
Yeah, I wonder whether the wicketkeeper might even have had a chance to get that. I suppose he's standing right up though, isn't he?
Yeah, and actually, even though he's behind him, it's quite a big deflection. It's pushed out behind square on the offside. So Garrett gets a life on 10. If those of you that were listening last night, Danny Briggs' first ball he faced just went for a single, whereas there wasn't a single there, was sent back.
That's right.
Should have been run out.
Of course he should, yeah.
That was first ball.
It was.
Driven, but not timed out towards extra cover.
I think we've been home by now if that had happened. I think we've been home last night.
It would have been. If you hadn't got home by then, Clive, they're doing something seriously wrong.
Well, you know, I don't know whether he saw it late. Wicketkeeper might have slightly obscured his view, but an escape for Warwickshire then. And 2:43 for 9. A lead of 90. All these two can do is play for their career totals. Garrett's getting close to upping his average again. And Briggs, you know, he can score runs. Scored some valuable runs last season. So a change of bowling from Keith Barker might miss out on the fifer, because Kyle Abbott is now coming into bowl. Without a wicket so far in this innings, so he gets a chance to get one. Slip in place, just the one for Garrett, who drives that to mid-off. Briggs, they're trying to give Briggs a single now to get Garrett on strike. It's a touch of, I don't know, desperation's the wrong word, but it doesn't, for me, that sends out the wrong signal, really. It says we're concerned, we want to get the number 11 on strike. So the field has got one slip in place, 5 on the boundary, 3 sort of preventing the single. But, anyway, Abbott in, and Briggs trying to push it to the offside, gets a bit of inside edge onto his pads, doesn't know where the ball's gone at first. It's landed down by his feet. Vince pretends to try and run him out by kicking the ball towards the stumps after Briggs had given the ball back to him.
Quick 30-second summary coming up shortly of the first 36 minutes of play. Shall I take over just to do this?
Yeah, sure.
There's Barker. Abbott even. That's pushed back to him by Danny Briggs. So they've added 23, 33, 31 this morning, haven't they? Yep. Quick calculation. So not a lot happening out there. It's been so far so good for Warwickshire. 36 minutes of play this morning. Yeah, Warwickshire frustrating Hampshire here. They started the day on 212 for 9, leading by just 59, and Hampshire have yet to pick up that last wicket. They are 243 for 9 now. The visitors, they've added 31 this morning, and they've extended that lead to 90. That shouldn't pose too much of a problem, because this wicket is very dead indeed. The seamers finding it really tough to get past the bat of these 2 lower order batters. Danny Briggs, the former Hampshire spinner, frustrating. He's 25 not out. George Garrett, the number 11, is 10 not out. At the moment, it's only a 90-run lead, 243 for 9.
So in comes Abbott to bowl. Oh, they're appealing for a caught behind here. They're convinced he's given it. He's trying to get his bat out of the way there, Danny Briggs. But he must have just got a faint nick. Warwickshire are finally all out for 243. Briggs gone for 25, leaving George Garrett not out 10. We shall up his average a little bit. They march off. Of course, it's come off the scoreboard now. Was it a lead of 90 in the end, was it?
Yeah, 243.
So 91 required for Hampshire to win.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm glad the umpire's finger went up there because Briggs wasn't going.
No.
He was waiting for the decision, which of course he's perfectly entitled to do, but if that hadn't have been given, then Warwickshire's innings would have continued. First wicket for Kyle Abbott in the second innings to go with his 5 wickets in the first, 1 for 49 from nearly 25 overs, but Danny Briggs has done a good job there. We all know that the guy can play, and on a wicket where it's not doing a lot, he always offers some stubborn resistance. Did that several times when he was here. So he goes for 25, as Clive mentions. George Garrett not out on 10, and Hampshire will need 91 to win this game, and it will be their 6th victory of the season if they do so. Looks like the heavy roller is making its way back out, which will make this wicket even more deader, if indeed you can make it even deader. I think we'll take a quick break, shall we, Clive? We will be back with you in just under 10 minutes time. 4 for 35 for Keith Barker. Standout performance. In fact, his 4 overs this morning, he didn't take a wicket and cost 12 runs. And the highest partnership there, that 81 between McAndrew and Burgess, was undone by a quick 3-wicket burst from Keith Barker. McAndrew and Burgess batting very well together right there. So 243 all out, Hampshire needing 91. We'll be back with you shortly. And welcome back to the Ageas Bowl, where the Warwickshire innings has ended. They were bowled out for 243. They added 31 this morning for their last wicket before Danny Briggs was caught behind off Kyle Abbott for 25. That means they had a lead of 90. Hampshire need 91 to win. The players are out there in the middle. I'm Kevin James, and next to me from BBC Commentary in Warwickshire and BBC West Midlands, it's Clive Eakin.
This is going to be fun. 23 for 6. Looking forward to all your tweets from that.
I tell you what, I don't think I'll be looking at them if that's the case. I think I'll close my computer down.
Can't see Hampshire having too many problems. They'll probably play pretty sensibly, pretty dully, really, in a way. At least to start with. From Warwickshire's bowler's point of view, it's an opportunity to pick up 1 or 2 wickets to add to your tally, but it would need something really remarkable for Hampshire to be in any danger of not winning here.
Yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you? But Hannon Dolby has found the odd bit of seam movement, hasn't he? And bowled a consistent line and length. I think he'll make it as hard as possible.
How quickly does the weather travel? It's raining at Scarborough.
I just saw
Can
that
it get
as
down
well.
here by...
I think that's the worrying thing, though, isn't it? Where there's no rain in sight and we're going there in a couple of weeks, there's still rain there.
Alan Dolby bowls a little tip to a backward point for no run by Felix Organ.
Yeah, I think this is it's interesting, isn't it? You say, take a couple of men with you, basically, in this situation. But I think for me, this is quite an important innings here for Felix Organ. Only made 5 in the first innings. LBW to the man bowling now. Again, sort of, his career average, 22. Yeah, I think a little nod out here will certainly help him.
Yes, there's not much pressure in the match situation, but there will be pressure on individuals. Yeah. As Hannon Dolby bowls, and that is a drive and a miss by Felix Organ. And it gets a glare from Ollie Hannon Dolby. That just goes past the outside edge. Did a bit. Suddenly turned into a terror track.
Well, I mean, I know it's a new ball, but he does, doesn't he? Hannon Dolby does find something from time to time that others don't. That was a good ball, that, wasn't it? Pitched and left. I mean, we've not seen anything do anything this morning. There's obviously a game going on the nursery ground. I thought some people were having a picnic over there, but they're obviously watching some cricket.
In comes Hannon Dolby. Oh, and that's a short delivery, which Organ has a little flash at. And misses. Slightly nervy start from Felix Organ, just underline what you're saying. But,
yeah.
He's almost in a no-win situation. I mean, if he's there at the end, he'll get a pat on the back, and that will be good for him if he gets out.
That's right. If you get in and get a little 40 not out, it actually doesn't do a lot, does it, for your average? But yeah, as I say, I think he won't want to get out here. Don't think that will help. I can't see what game it is over there, of course, because the temporary stands are between us and the nursery ground. But a few people in the deck chairs.
This next one, he does get away. Organ down to third for the first 4 runs, and Hampshire are on their way, 4 without loss.
Yeah, it's not his best ball, that one, Hannon Dolby. He's got a new ball in his hand. I mean, there will be some movement, no doubt about that, and some bit extra bounce. It might disappear quite quickly. But I don't know. This guy's a good bowler. I like watching him. Isn't it? Some bowlers you sort of keep your eyes on, don't you? And others you just sort of watch them and you take note, but that's about it. But I like this guy.
Let's have another decent season. He's got 2 slips there as he comes in to bowl to Organ, who pushes out into the offside for no run.
He's your ideal county cricketer, isn't he? Comes in, bowls the same day in and day out, gives you something a little bit more than some of the others. I mean, not lightning pace, not top notch, but just a good bowler.
He loves it as well, which helps.
He seems a nice guy, actually.
Yeah, he is, and very much dedicated to it. I think he's enjoying his cricket career. He's in now to bowl to Organ. Organ plays it to the offside. Well, 1 loose delivery. He beat the bat on 2 occasions. Did Hannon Dolby there, but Felix Organ got 4, so Hampshire have notched off 4 off this modest target. We need 87 more to win, 4 without loss.
Listen, I hardly know any of the players around the circuit now, obviously, but I tell you why. He did something the other night. I just heard in the distance, and I thought, well, you know, he sounds a really good guy. There was, I think you did an end of play interview with him. Just after he got 5 wickets, and you were doing the interview. He obviously knows you really well, so no problem. But there was a independent journalist here who came over and tagged onto you, and he just said, "Oh, hi, I'm blah blah blah," you know, and he said, "Oh, hi, I'm Oliver," and you know, a lot of players wouldn't bother doing that. They would just sort of go, "Oh, all right," like that, and then do the interview. And he actually introduced himself, and I thought that was quite nice. You know, it's got some spin, some Danny Briggs who's coming round the wicket outside the off stump, and that's a mistimed cut there by Ian Holland. Now Briggs is coming round the wicket. That's interesting.
It made me think that, you know, because we've always called him Ollie. Oh, should we be calling him Oliver? Does he prefer Oliver?
Well, I think he was a bit formal, wasn't he? But I just thought, when I heard him do that, I thought,
yeah,
I could think of a lot of professional players that wouldn't even bother, just go sort of go, "Oh, all right." That's full, and that's forward to Ian Holland. Interesting, Danny Briggs is coming round the wicket, because we saw with Ian Holland that he is actually, to the right-hander, bowling in that area straight where there is no rough and no turn, basically. So I would be very surprised if one turns, and one may do. That's outside the off stump and cut away by Ian Holland for a single. He's off the mark now. That'll be 5 without loss. I just wonder how quickly he may switch to over the wicket, where all the rough is outside leg stump. But of course it's a negative line, blah blah blah. We've gone on about it quite a lot over this game and previously, but it might cause 1 or 2 problems. But maybe that's seen as too negative in this situation. Maybe.
Yeah. I tried just to see how Hampshire play it, I suppose.
Yeah, interesting that Briggs is opening up. Comes in and bowls and forward. That's just straightened a fraction as Organ comes forward and pushes that out into the covers. So Hampshire have knocked off 5 of the 91. 86 to go. Briggs. Just a single off this over so far. Bowls, and that's flighted, and that's driven, and that's wide of mid-off, just past the diving field. I think that's Alex Davis there, is it?
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Yeah, he's normally been in that position, hasn't he? Just past his outstretched hand. Nice use of the feet there from Felix Organ, who looks as though he's going to be positive here. I did mention earlier, and I think I mentioned it yesterday, that the game down in Taunton, the 4-day game, Hampshire only needed 1 to win, and Organ and Holland went out. And the very first ball, I forget which seamer it was. It wasn't Overton wasn't playing, but it might have been Josh Davey or somebody. Bowled just a length ball, and Organ, very first ball, went to hit it over the top. He miscued it. And it's one of those shots that just kept the mid-off fielder interested the whole time as he sort of walked, tried to get back and try to get there, and it just plonked over his head, and that was the winning run. It was one of the worst shots of winning runs ever in the history of county cricket. 9 without loss. That's not being unkind to Felix Organ, but at least he wasn't going to keep anybody hanging around, and a couple of maidens, and you're all going, oh, well, when is all these runs going to get knocked off? But it was a horrible way to end the game. Organ has 8 and Holland has 1.
So Warwickshire out for 243 in their second innings. A little bit of lingering this evening. Final wicket stand in the end added 37. Before Briggs was out for 25. Leaving George Garrett not out 10. And no alarm so far for Hampshire. They're a 10th of the way there, just about. 9 without loss. And then Dolby to bowl to Holland, who held Warwickshire up the first innings, involved in the only century partnership of the game, and that one is an inside edge onto the leg side, and I'll get through for 1. They're coming back for a second, which they'll get comfortably. 11 without loss.
Yeah, it's good running there. They're not going to. They're going to get bogged down. I mean, again, if the bowling is accurate, then of course you've got to be a little bit careful. But I think where the opportunity is to turn 1s into 2s, or as we saw in the previous over, use your feet, Felix Organ, I think they'll do that. They're not going to eke out these runs and use most of the day by the looks of it.
And Dolby. Right time over to bowl to Holland, who just, I think, kept his bat inside the line there. Probing delivery from Hannon Dolby. It remains 11 without loss. Sun shining at Southampton, as throughout the match. A little bit of cloud cover, particularly yesterday, but not much. Certainly no interruptions in the game. So Warwickshire did manage to take it into the 4th day yesterday, but we probably aren't going to be finished by lunch on the 4th day, but probably not long after. So Ollie Hannon-Dolby bowls, and it's pushed out to the offside. There's no run.
Yeah, that's a good line and length, that. Just a little bit of seam movement from time to time, and that will cause 1 or 2 problems. That's right on the money, that one. But this wicket is very dead indeed for the seamers, which I have to say I don't mind in this situation from a Hampshire point of view. I don't want to see any going through the top all of a sudden and batting becoming tricky, even though this wicket is very dry. It's held together pretty well.
So Hannon-Dolby, a little skip at the end of his run-up, bowls. It's a bouncer, which Holland is able to ignore.
I think it just sort of proves the situation here was it's almost in a situation where whatever wicket you produce here, it never really deteriorates. You know, how many grounds you can name where by the time you get through to day 4, it's doing this and it's doing that and whatever. I mean, this is, well, if anything, this is doing less than it was.
Edgeson's been the same this season in particular. Yeah. Yeah, Warwick should be disappointed to have been more like less than 250 both innings on this, but they are against a very good attack. That's a good ball from Hannon-Dolby, as Holland tucked up. Some of the pads and rolls away.
Yeah, it's I mean, Edgbaston generally has been a pretty good wicket throughout, hasn't it? Really, I can't ever remember a time, whether commentating or playing, where I've gone up to Edgbaston and it's been anything other than a pretty decent wicket.
Just looking at my stats here. This is the 3rd match in which Warwickshire have had a 5-for, and they've lost. The 3 matches they've lost have been the 3 matches where they've had a 5-for. Hannon-Dolby comes into bowl. That's assuming they do lose this, which I am. That's hit into the ground, and it's fielded one-handed by Ollie Hannon-Dolby, and it's 11 without loss.
I mean, well, the killer session for Warwickshire was the 16 runs and 5 wickets after lunch on the first day. That's a very difficult situation to come back from, and I think that's probably where the game has been won and lost. I think from then on, the gap between these two sides has just grown a bit wider. Each session that's happened since then, and to get us through to this point. Mike Martin at Solar Sports has tweeted again. Morning to you, Mike. It's just, boy, in fact, it's just ticked over to midday. Just a thought, says Mike, on today's one-day international. The fact that England think Jason Roy is a better bat than Vince is laughable, says Mike. Roy doesn't know which end of the bat to hold at the moment. So clumsy. I'm happy Vince is here playing for Hampshire, but really? ... says that Mike. Well, I think again that just sort of emphasises the England policy, doesn't it, really, that just because a guy's out of form for a little while. Oh, over the wicket and edged there by Organ, past the diving first slip. It's going down towards the 3rd man boundary and goes over the rope. And that'll be 4 runs off the edge of Felix Organ, who moves on to 12, 15 without loss, 76 are needed. Danny Briggs only bowled 1 over around the wicket. Didn't take him long to come over the wicket, firing it into that rough outside leg stump. Just got a bit of turn. It's quite interesting, Mike, isn't it, really? I mean, when you look at the stats for the T20, James Vince, most runs in the competition this season. Was it 653? I'll tell you that only because I did a few stats before today's play, ahead of getting some interviews for Saturday's T20 finals day. Oh my word, he was going to reverse sweep that, and in the end, off the face of the bat, works it on the 45 on the leg side. I have never seen that before. If you're on the live picture feed, have a look. He was going to reverse sweep Briggs. It was way outside leg stump, and somehow he played it like a left-hander who played the ball late, opening the face of the bat. Incredible shot. That is a sweep shot. He's got hold of that very nicely indeed. In fact, that's 4 runs. A couple of sweeps from Danny Briggs this morning in that area have been matched with that sweep there from Felix Organ, who moves on to 20. He's not hanging around. As they say with the old adage, has he got a train to catch this afternoon? He's playing very positively. That 16 has come off 12 deliveries only, and that it's all 16 have come in boundaries. 19 without loss, 72 needed as he's on the back foot. Tries to crack that away on the offside, but doesn't time it. So yes, James Vince currently has the most runs in this year's T20 competition with 653, and in that semi-final, second up on Saturday in the afternoon against Somerset. There's a reverse sweep, and he gets it square on the offside. That'll be another boundary. 5 boundaries for Felix Organ, and he's 20 now. And the Hampshire total moves on to 23 without loss and 68 runs needed. The way Felix Organ is batting, we will be finished before lunch. And Riley Russo, with 600 runs, is the second highest batter in this year's competition. So going back to that tweet from Mike Martin, you would say, why isn't James Vince selected? And I think that side was selected about, what, 10 days ago, a week ago, for that series. There's a sweep shot that's in the air. It's a top edge, but it's safe. It's plugged out at deep mid-wicket. It won't go all the way, but there will be 2 more for Felix Organ, who moves on to 22, and it's 66 needed. And that Danny Briggs over, a little expensive. And again, some expansive stroke play from Felix Organ. And yes, I mean, Vince went out to the Caribbean in January and played in that T20 series, and you think, well, what has he done wrong? Apparently, I think, as I say apparently, I just remember somebody mentioning to me, he got a half-century in the final innings as well of that series. So what has he done wrong to lose his place? But anyway, I think it goes back to the England policy of, you know, even if somebody's out of form for a month, why would you suddenly drop them? But James Vince certainly has a case to play in the, certainly in the T20 series, if nothing else. But anyway, 25 without loss, Clive back. Hannon Dalby to bowl the next over from the pavilion end.
Yeah, well, this could be of a balance. They have just set about it. Hannon Dalby into bowl to Holland, who drives that. Good shot, we won't get anything for it. Straight to Alex Davis at mid-off. There is no run.
I quite like the way Felix Organ is going about this, because you know, you don't want to set a tone in the innings where the first 4 or 5 overs you yield about 1 run, because all of a sudden then you just feel things closing in on you a little bit, and whilst the fielding side probably in the back of their minds feel that they're probably not going to win it, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't help. But Organ is playing just right for me.
That's a bouncer from Hannon Dalby, which Ian Holland ignores, or ducks under. 25 without loss. Hampshire, who will take a step forward in the battle to win the county championship. They'll be, see what's happening elsewhere. They'll be pleased that Surrey, who did take 3 early Yorkshire wickets, are now being held up by the rain. They are back on, and they've got another wicket. Yorkshire 82 for 4. It's not quite done and dusted there yet. Then they lead by 88. What about Lancashire? As Hannon Dalby comes into bowl to Holland, who tries to drive that, doesn't get out of the middle of the bat, comes at the inside of the bat and rolls down the pitch. And there is no run. Lancashire got 2 Somerset wickets. Somerset 32 for 2. Still 146 behind. The best case scenario for Hampshire today is that Lancashire and Surrey both draw and Hampshire win. Well, the last of those is almost certain to happen. The other 2 not quite so certain at the moment. So in comes Hannon Dalby, and he just popped up on Holland a bit. I think he's done well to play that down into the ground. Leicestershire now 635 for 4 at Hove, as you say. Fun commentating on that. Ian Mulder 176 not out. Colin Ackerman 224 not out. What's that partnership then? That's a partnership. I don't even think I can calculate it, to be honest. 21. That's a partnership of 300 and, oh, I don't know. Lots. That would be fun. In comes Hannon Dalby to Holland, who drives, doesn't get it past the bowler. Dot ball.
Accurate stuff from Alan Dolby there. Have you worked? Did you work out that? I must admit, I was trying to help you out, but even I couldn't work it out, that partnership.
No, I gave up. Let's see, 300. I think it's 359.
Wow.
Yeah. I bet that's fun for the fielding side, isn't it? So Hammond always adjusting his field. He's bringing a fielder close in. It's 3 pitches away. Comfortably Warwickshire's top wicket taker of the season. We want to add 1 or 2 more before we head home. Oh, that was a good delivery. It bounced a bit. It's gone past the bat handle of Holland, who's taking evasive action.
Good delivery, that.
Yeah.
Just watching that on the live picture feed again, and bit of bounce, straightens. I think fortunately for Holland, it was probably just a couple of inches further outside off stump. I think that would have caused him a few more problems had it been a fraction straighter. Gosh, good delivery. Again, he's just found something a bit extra. The tall man. Danny Briggs over the wicket. Left arm spin, looking to hit the rough outside leg stump. Felix Organ expects some sweeps and some reverse sweeps. There's this. Oh, he was going to sweep, and in the end played a forward defensive, and it just came off the top of the bat. Fortunately for Organ, or did it hit him on the back arm? He just rubbed his back arm there, but it bounced short of first slip. Just a bit too short to sweep. That's why he changed his shot. Here comes Briggs again. There's a reverse sweep there. He gets hold of that, goes out to extra cover. Would you believe? Hey, this is interesting. I'm loving watching this. From Felix Organ. Reverse sweeps, sweeps. We saw Ben Brown do a lot of that against Danny Briggs, didn't we, in the first innings? Ben Brown finished not out, I think about 70 off the top of my head. That's off the back foot, a rather more conventional shot this time as it goes out towards extra cover. Ben Brown finishing on 72 not out. Here comes Briggs again. There's the reverse sweep. It's gone up in the air and it's gone over the top of slip. Has that come off the bat? Did it flick the pad? Waiting for Stephen O'Shaughnessy to signal. Nothing. That's come off the edge.
Half a chance there, then.
Yeah, just looped over slip there. 26 without loss, 65 needed. And Danny Briggs is going to switch to over. That's interesting, isn't it? He's bowling over the wicket to Ian Holland. Sorry, round the wicket to Ian Holland and over to Felix Organ.
I think there's a wicket in the nursery ground, judge for the shout we just heard.
Yes. But we can't see anything. Normally you can see something from here, but that temporary stand's not helping. That's pushed back quietly to Briggs by Ian Holland, who has 20 runs behind Felix Organ's 23, and Hampshire needs 65 here to win this game, their 6th championship game of the season if they do so. It's driven up towards mid-on. Will Rhodes does well there actually at mid-on, coming round to his left. Might have been a single if they'd gone straight away. I think they played it safe. And Danny Briggs has completed 3 overs, none for 20. 26 without loss.
Yeah, no great dramas. The odd scare, but Hampshire progressing nicely. They'll take as much time as they need, but they still could get their finish by lunch. But they won't worry if they don't. There's no weather dangers, so they're heading for... What do they get? They got 7 bonus, so they're in 23. They only dropped 1 point in this match. It's a pretty good effort. They'll end up with 23 points. Warwickshire will end up with 4. Just managed to sneak that 3rd bowling point in the nick of time during the Hampshire first innings. Now then, we're going to see George Garrett. It'd be nice if he could get a wicket. He's deserved one in this match, hasn't got one yet. He comes into bowl just on the leg side. It's played down to the sweeper at mid-wicket by Organ for his 24th run. Rather dominating the innings at the moment. Felix Organ, 27 without loss.
Yes, he's keep going at this pace for a little while, and I think any thoughts that this might be close will, well, I think it's already disappearing, really. Interesting, 2 men on the drive on the offside.
And that was a decent delivery. I think he did play inside the line, Holland, but it was a good short delivery. And he's done something. He's gone to do a bit of gardening. Ian Holland.
Yes, I think those two men on the drive gives you an example of really just how slow this pitch really is. A little bit too paced at times, but generally it's been fairly slow from some of the wickets we've seen here this year.
And again is Garrett. Holland plays it off his pads down to fine leg. It is cut off. Good tumbly stop by Alex Davis, but they're through for 2. So Holland moves on to 5, 29 without loss.
Yeah, that's good running. There probably was 2 there anyway, but again, aggressive running, just making sure even if it's a run that probably on top of a single, it doesn't sound a lot, and it isn't a lot to chase, but just keep the running aggressive, just keep the scoreboard ticking along as much as you can.
Garrett in, it's driven back to him by Holland. Garrett fields no run.
I think that was the thing with Alex Davis, even though he batted a long time, didn't he, for his 46, 154 balls. He was always looking for a single, wasn't he? And there were times where he got a single when you thought there wasn't one there, but even when he was playing defensively, cut the paces down the pitch, looking for any chance. And that's the right way to play, especially on slow pitches where if the bowlers bowl accurately, it's difficult to get away.
Garrett bowls with the inside edge, and that's gone out to square leg for Holland. And they're coming back for a second, and that's good running. Took on the arm of Nathan McAndrew. They're through for 2. And that's well, they're a third of the way there now. 31 without loss.
So that's a perfect example there, isn't it? You know, Ian Holland, the minute that ball went behind square, he's run the first one really quickly in the hope of giving himself a chance of 2. You know, in another situation, you just jog through for 1 and nobody think anything different. But no, that's good running.
And that was hit off his toes to mid-on for no run by Holland. Well, a couple of decent deliveries out over for George Garrett, so hasn't got the wicket. And Hampshire chasing just 91 to win, off 31 without loss. What we got to lunch? We've got 45 minutes to lunch. They'll have to go about sort of 5. I don't think they can extend the session, can they, if Hampshire get close? I don't think they can.
It's funny you should say that, because literally in the last couple of minutes, Dave Allen, Hampshire's honorary archivist, who would have been here today, but is sadly not very well, he said on the tweets at Solent Sport, as that's kicked away by Organ, start of a new over from Briggs over the wicket, can the umpires extend lunch?
I don't think they can on the final day. That's my understanding, but we'll find out. Well, we may find out.
We will do it 1 o'clock, won't we? Here comes Briggs again. I'll tell you, there's another way. Always try to sweep that one, gets wrapped on the pad.
Not if they've won it by then.
No, well, that's true. That's true. If they keep going like this, they probably will. But Joe on the ground, who I know listens, even though it's about 6 balls behind the play online, because she's not near a TV screen on the ground, so she can't get real time. She will hear this in about a minute. And will reply, I know she will. There's a reverse sweep in the air over the head of the backward point, and that's going for 4. That was a real forceful reverse sweep as well. Loving the way that Felix Organ is playing this. And those that were listening or watching the feed from Chelmsford a couple of weeks ago, when Hampshire were trying to chase down 300 to win that game and got within 12, which was an amazing effort. Felix Organ against Harmer, who was unplayable at times, kept depositing Harmer over deep mid-wicket for 6. It lasted 5 times he did it, even though in the end it was inevitable what was going to happen. That's driven off the back foot to extra cover and there's no run. 35 without loss and 56 are needed. But he does play very positively at times, and he's doing so here. 28 of 24 he is. Briggs bowls, and he's always got up in the air, and this could be caught at mid-off. He's trying to hit it over mid-wicket. Oh. Dropped! Oh my word, Alex Davis. And that is a sitter. And do you know what? Felix Organ was walking off there, and in the end gets a single.
I can't believe he's dropped that. Danny Briggs will be 2, please. It's not going to make a difference in the match situation, but denies Briggs a wicket. And
wow.
I think somebody was giving Alex Davis a bit of stick, which is uncalled for, to be honest. But so he turned and replied.
Briggs over the wicket. There's a reverse sweep from Holland this time. Gets it on the glove. It goes to ground, and that's the end of the over. Well, Felix Organ was trying to hit that over mid-wicket. It's turned out of the rough, got a huge leading edge. The only thing with Alex Davis in his defence is that when you look up and there is that sort of light blue sky with no clouds, you've got nothing to judge the ball with. So it's literally coming out of just plain light blue sky, and that is very difficult. So when there's some clouds, it's funny, it gives you perspective with the ball, but when there's that and there's nothing but blue sky behind the ball, there's no perspective as to how the ball's coming down at you. So that's in his defence.
Frustrating for Danny Briggs, 36 without loss. George Garrett comes in to bowl, and that's played into the ground to the offside. There's no run. And it's 36 without loss.
Alex Davis is clearly going through that in his mind, because he's down, kneeling down, just thinking about it, you can tell.
Drop them deliberately.
Well, if Hampshire were 36 for 8,
well,
and he drops it, then I would worry about it, but I wouldn't worry about it in this situation too much. But of course, it's your professional pride, of course, as much as anything.
Garrett in again, and that's going to come down to Alex Davis, who will make a good stop and gets a bit of applause from the. There is a bit going on there between one or two spectators and Alex Davis. Maybe he's been a little unwise to rise to it. But I think he's clearly unhappy about something that was said.
Says be careful, be careful. Because the crowd will keep that going and they will make it worse. So be careful. And I know that from experience as well.
Garrett in. It was 2 runs in the end. That's inevitably gone to Alex Davis again. And it's 1. A bit of anger in the throw from him.
Yeah, there is. Keep an eye on that. I think there's 1 or 2 on the balcony at the hotel as well. Might be shouting.
He might have hurt his hand as well while dropping that. I think he's feeling his hand a little bit. So it might have actually. It just sort of clipped a finger or something. But anyway, Garrett comes into bowl. And that's played to point. It's going to beat the point fielder. They're going to run a couple here. Danny Briggs chases it down. And it's 41 without loss. 50 more required to win.
Joe on the ground has finally heard the commentary come through. She says, thanks for that mention. But I'm also not sure if lunch can be moved on the final day. So Joe thinks it can't, or may not be able to move. Believe me, there's a good chance that it can't be moved. She knows everything. Well, almost everything.
I might be able to do it. I need 50 runs in 40 minutes to do it in time for the original lunch time. That's played down to long leg to Alex Davis for another single. So Hampshire just ticking along nicely. Organ on 32, Holland on 10.
Keep my eye on Alex Davis there. I think he's simmering a little bit down there at 5 league. Well, we're all simmering in the heat, but him probably his temperature's just a little higher.
Yeah. He needs his wicket-keeping gloves on, perhaps. Garrett comes into bowl. That's played down to him by Organ for a single. He just picks it up, Alex Davis, and runs in because it's the end of the over. 43 without loss. 48 required. Organ's on 33, Holland on 10.
Yeah, so not too many alarms in this 4th innings. So we have we've had an hour and 20 minutes this morning, minus of course the 10 minutes in the changeover between innings. Warwickshire starting 212 for 9, bowled out for 243. 90 run lead, 91 needed. That's down to 48 as Briggs will start a new over. Continuing with over the wicket, and there's a reverse sweep which is edged to first slip, and that is out. Is it? It's come off the pad, says umpire Steve O'Shaughnessy. That's Felix Organ with that reverse sweep that didn't connect with the bat and just looped up to first slip, but he's still there as Briggs bowls, kicked away. That's a little bit wider of leg stump this time. So Felix Organ is still above a runner ball, 33 off 31. Quite a few boundaries in that innings as well. As Briggs bowls quicker this time, and it's driven up to mid-on. And there is no run. Fielded by Will Rhodes, the captain. Sibley at first slip it is. As Briggs bowls again, he's on the back foot there, Organ. Nice shot through extra cover. Just waited for it, picked his spot, and that is going to go over the rope. And that is a elegant shot there, actually. A little bit more out of the textbook, you'd say. 37 he moves on to, 47 without loss, and 44 now are needed. Lovely shot there, just waited and waited. Didn't do too much out of the rough, although it bounced a fraction. Just waiting to the fielder to go back at extra cover. Briggs bowls again. There's a reverse sweep, and he gets hold of that. And that has gone down towards third man. It was in the air, but it was safe. And there is that no, it's not McAndrew, is it? A backward point. And, that is the 50 up for Hampshire, and that's coming the 10th. This is by far and away the quickest scoring rate of the innings, but there's an element, of course, of this game running down now and getting pretty close to its conclusion. One of the close fielders go out now, so that allows the fielder to go at deep backward point, and the one on the 45.
Was McAndrew, you're right.
Was McAndrew, yeah. Sweep there from Morgan, he misses that and it goes past off stump. And that is the end of the over. 8 runs off that Danny Briggs over. Organ has 41 off 34, 35 now. Holland has 10, Hampshire 51 without loss, need another 40.
Yeah, may not need an extension of the lunch, whether they're allowed one or not. No alarms. Weren't really expecting them. They should have lost 1 wicket, of course, but they've not ever looked in any serious danger here. And Warwickshire got 5 more championship matches. They've got Surrey next, so it doesn't get any easier. And then they've got Kent at home. It's like Garrett comes into bowl. Glad it wasn't off Garrett that catch was dropped. That would have been disappointing for him.
Yeah.
That's gone down the leg side. It's taken by Michael Burgess. 2 more championship games before the 100, and we have a break from the championship game. Those not involved in the 100 play in the 50 over competition. So it's Surrey away and Kent at home for Warwickshire in that spell. That looks a good shout from Garrett, and it's given out after some thought. The umpire thought about it for a while, and George Garrett has his wicket. Well, he's deserved that. Took the umpire a long time, actually. In fact, there was almost a hint of a run out there, but the finger went up, and Ian Holland goes, and he goes for 10, and Hampshire are reeling at 51 for 1.
Yeah, well, you're right, he does deserve a wicket. I'm just wondering if the umpire was trying to make sure that there was no inside edge onto that, because from here it looked pretty plumb, and maybe just making sure that there was not 2 sounds. But other than that, it was that was right in front, just playing slightly across that Ian Holland. Ball held its line, and it's been a good start from Hampshire. You don't want to be 0 for 1 or 10 for 2, as we mentioned earlier, but 51 for 1, chasing 91. Keeps Warwickshire at arm's length.
There'll be a long team meeting if they lose it from here, won't there?
Oh, blimey. It'll be one of the unbelievable defeats ever.
Yeah.
Especially with that start.
Yeah. Great for George Garrett. Just, to get that wicket ball nice and straight there. Got his reward. It is the 9th wicket of his fledgling first-class career. This is only his 4th game. In fact, if he can get 1 more, he'll get career best figures, because currently they're 2 for 53.
Okay.
So, didn't play at all last year. He's been taking some wickets for the second 11. And got his place in the team. I think There's a feeling that a couple of the injured bowlers might be close to coming back, Liam Norwell and Ollie Stone, so he may not get to play in the next game, but he will play, you would think, in the 50-over competition. Nick Gubbins, the new man in, he's coming round the wicket to him. Gubbins leaves that outside off stump, and there's no run.
Gubbins made just 2 in the first innings.
So he'll feel a little bit of personal pressure.
Yeah, definitely. He's having a good season as well. It's you're going to get low scores, of course you are, but caught in the slips, wasn't he, off Bacandra?
I think when Warwickshire had Vince and Gubbins out, they had high hopes of keeping Hampshire down to not much more than their first innings total, but weren't able to do so in the end. Garrett into ball what's quite wide, and it's clipped away. He's going to get away with it. Is Garrett? Gubbins didn't quite get hold of it, and it's well stopped by Alex Davis, a backward point. It's a little bit further away from the crowd now. Alex, are we still looking in that direction?
He is, isn't he? He's waiting for a reaction. Oh dear. It's a nightmare because you tend to notice the comments. You know, when things haven't gone your way in a game, and you get those comments, and they do sort of. You know that you shouldn't affect you, but they do when you're losing.
That's played nicely through long on for 4 runs by Gubbins. Good shot to get off the mark. I'm just chuckling because I noticed what they've got on the scoreboard. The required run rate, which has now gone down to 0.5 and over. So if they score 1 every 2 overs, they'll get there by the close of play.
I think we will have gone by then. I'm not sure I could take that, could you?
55 for 1. That would be pushing it a little bit, wouldn't it? To
entertainment.
In comes Garrett round the wicket to Gubbins, leaves that, and comes to the wicketkeeper. There's no run. End of the over, 55 for 1. Successful over for Garrett, but the boundary for Gubbins keeps Hampshire ticking towards their victory. They need 36 more.
Just going back to the whether you can move the lunch. I know it's normally immovable, isn't it, on the last day? But I'm trying to think. I've been all that over. I was trying to think. And Clive, you've done a lot of this. I've done a lot of this, and you know, and what have you. Have there ever been a case where you've gone into lunch and then literally the game has finished a couple of overs or so after that?
I do. I remember the one I do remember. And some people were furious, but I thought it was quite funny when. I can't remember who Warwickshire were playing, but the opposition needed 1 to win or something. And last ball, the
sweep shot there from many courts at square leg. And now Felix Organ goes. 41 he goes for, and Hampshire have gone from 51 without loss to 55 for 2, and that was straight down the throat there of George Garrett. It was a little too full to sweep. He couldn't really... I think he tried to lift it, but he couldn't get it any higher than around chest height, and that's the 2nd wicket down. Sorry, yes.
Yes, where were we? I remember, yes. So I can't remember they were playing, but they needed 1 or 2 to win, and the last over, Nick Knight set his field and made, played the game. There was no chance of it raining the following day, really. And some people say, "Oh, that's ridiculous. You should just let him get the runs in the last over." And I thought, no, he's got to play properly. Obviously, they had the extra half hour.
Yeah.
And they ended up, so we came back the following day. They needed, well, I didn't, but the players came back the following day. They needed 2 to win or something, which was quite funny. I thought it was anyway. Isn't there a picture at Portsmouth? There's supposed to be a picture in the pavilion of a similar scenario where, it's from quite a long time ago, where a team needed 1 to win or something on the final day, and all the fielders are in their civilian clothes. They haven't even bothered to change in their whites.
Oh, yes. Funny you should say that. Yes, there is a picture somewhere down this way of that, because I've seen it. Oh, in fact, it might be Dave Allen that told me about it, because he even remembers all these sort of things.
Yeah.
And you're right. Yeah, there is a picture. It might have been at the old ground at Southampton, was it?
I have some vague recollection of being at Portsmouth. I think I did a game there.
Well, maybe it was Portsmouth, yeah.
But anyway.
But you're right, nobody bothered getting changed, that's right. Wow, those are the days, weren't they?
You wouldn't know to do that now, would you?
I still remember the time, and I've told this story many times on here, but I will for the benefit that people ever haven't. And this happened at Edgbaston, as Briggs is over the wicket to James Vince, who's kicking that one away, slides off to slip. And this happened at Edgbaston. a few years ago where one year we had a kit van. So we'd all travel in cars and the kit would travel up separately. But the kit van broke down in the morning of the 3 or 4 day game, whatever it was. It's pushed again, kicked out, and it's gone out on the offside. So we all turned up to the ground and the kit van didn't. And apparently it broke down at the hotel, so we later learnt. And they were struggling to get this kit van going, and it was getting nearer and nearer to the start of the game. Right. True story. Kicked away by James Vince again, and I think it got to a point where we needed to do something. So we borrowed a couple of bats and balls from the Warwickshire players, and we went out there and just knocked up in our trousers and normal shirts about 40 minutes before the game, half an hour before the game, because the kit van hadn't arrived. And that was at Edgbaston. Vince on the back foot, keeps it down as it bounced a fraction. He's off the mark as it goes out square on the offside. 56 for 2, 35 needed.
So here's a question. How many wickets now would get you worried? How many wickets do you need if you start getting a bit nervous?
6.
Okay.
5. Well, it depends on the score. See, at 35 needed, I think if we were 5 down, I'd start getting nervous. Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, can't see anything really, but
just never know, do you? I mean, if a couple spit out of the rough, it might.
Interesting field, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Gubbins facing Briggs, turns that away quietly on the leg side. He wants a single. No, Vince. God, if that get going. Oh dear. 56 to 2. It's got a different feel actually. This reply since both openers have gone in quick succession, and I'm going to try and do a quick 30-second summary of what's been happening so far this morning in a moment. End of the over from Briggs, who has 1 for 34 from 6. 72 overs left in the day. Don't need to worry about that, hopefully. Looks like we're going to get some more spin at the far end as well. We're going to get some Dan Mosley with his spin as well. We're going to get spin at both ends. Well, we're getting close to the end. Not totally straightforward. In the end, Warwickshire were bowled out for 243. They added 31 runs this morning for their final wicket. Danny Briggs caught behind of Kyle Abbott for 25, which means that Hampshire need 91 to win. They are 56 for 2, so they need another 35. They were given a very quick start by Felix Organ, but he's just gone for 41. They came off 37 balls, 8 fours. He wasn't hanging around. They say, don't they? He's got a train to catch. But Ian Holland has gone just before him, so Hampshire have lost a couple of quick wickets, but they should be all right. 56 for 2, need another 35.
And they've got 4 more of them there. It's Dan Mosley who's come on to bowl. And James Vince has just reverse swept him for 4. A Mosley hat-trick would make it fun, you know?
Yes.
60 for 2.
With Briggs taking one just before, then that really will be interesting.
So, will we finish by? Should do, shouldn't we?
Close, aren't we?
Mosley comes in to bowl, and that's played down to the onside. I don't think, I'm just wondering, oh, they are, you know, they're -1 in the over rate, so I think Warwickshire are going to try and get Mosley and Briggs just to get that ticked off quickly. He comes in to bowl, Mosley, another reverse sweep, so it's in Warwickshire's interest to try and slow the scoring down a bit here, but they haven't done that. That's a reverse sweep for 4 for Vince, and moves on to 9. 64 for 2. They want to lose a point here, Warwickshire.
No, race through it now. The game's gone now, that's for sure. I'm just wondering, have I seen James Vince play many reverse sweeps? I can't think of any, and he's played 2 in this over.
Maybe he's auditioning for England.
Yeah.
In comes Mosley, and again he's gone for the attacking shot there and got away for another 4. So the danger here for Warwickshire is this could be finished very quickly. They might not have time to get this over rate sorted out. That's 3 fours in the over. Vince is on to 13. Maybe he's not planning to stay for lunch.
Maybe he's got a lunch date somewhere else. Dave Allen's just sent me a photo.
Oh, it's there. Oh, yeah.
Is that the one you saw?
Yeah, well, I can't. It's such a long time ago, so I'm sure it is. Yeah. As Mosley bowls, that's a dot ball, and Warwickshire want to get ready to bowl next over quickly. 68 for 2. Only 23 more required.
So we were talking earlier about Clive could remember a photo. He thought it was in Portsmouth of a game where the fielding side didn't bother getting changed because the game was so close. And Dave Allen, Hampshire's honorary archivist, who's listening, get well soon, Dave, at Solent Sport, he sent the photo in. It was 1930.
Okay.
And he says it was Hampshire against Nottinghamshire at Southampton. Notts fielded in suits. Yeah, so you can see that there. Briggs over the wicket. There's another reverse sweep. It's Gubbins this time, and that's gone quickly on the 45 for 4 runs. They're warming up for the T20s, although Vince will be playing at Edgbaston. Gubbins won't, not unless there's a lot of injuries.
Sorry to interrupt, but Ollie Hanan-Dobby sprinted, no chance of stopping it, but he sprinted to get the ball as quickly as possible and get it back as quickly as possible. They're obviously concerned about this -1.
Yeah, they'll have to hurry. 19 needed. Briggs ready. Gubbins isn't quite. In fact, Hanan-Dobby's he just got back to his mark at backward point. Briggs bowls. Gubbins well forward. Just another little footnote to that 1930 game. Dave says the suggestion was that the Nottinghamshire captain, A.W. Carr, wanted an extra night in the bar. So that's why they came back the next day with the game virtually over. Briggs bowls. Another reverse sweep there from Gubbins. The same result. Past Hanan-Dobby's right hand, that's 4 more, and it's 15 needed by Hampshire. 76 for 2, and Gubbins moves on to 12.
There's a little side game going on here again. Watch a substitute fielder racing to get hold of that one and throw it back in.
Yeah, I'd have all the available Warwickshire coaching staff dotted around at the ground so that they can throw it back as quickly as possible. 76 for 2 then. Field slightly changes here on the offside. I'm not sure there's any point now with 15 needed, but anyway, that's just using up time.
Yeah,
why bother?
Well, you want to get yourself wickets, don't you?
Maybe. 1 for 42. Briggs into his 7th over here. Bowls, Gubbins, just pushes that out quietly on the onside, and there is no run. So at the moment, as we head towards the conclusion of this game, of course, Hampshire keeping an eye on what's happening with Surrey as Gubbins pushes well forward out on the offside. Yorkshire leads Surrey by 125 runs, 119 for 5.
123 for 6 I've got now.
Oh, is it? Oh, right, it's just updated.
Crumbs.
So, oh dear. So Surrey might win that one, the way things are going. That's nudged away by Gubbins. That'll be 4 more to the total on the leg side, so Hampshire need just 11 here. Gubbins moves on to 16, 80 for 2. End of the over there for Danny Briggs. He has 7 overs, 1 for 46.
No further success for Lancashire at the moment. Somerset 48 for 3, but they've still got to work to do to save that game, 130 behind. But yes, Surrey at Scarborough. It could be, of course, they could end up tripping up and losing. That would be the dream scenario from
amazing, wouldn't it? 15 points between Hampshire and Surrey at the moment. So if Hampshire do, or when Hampshire win this, they will actually briefly go ahead of Surrey. But, and then we'll have to wait and see what happens Scarborough later.
So Mosley into bowl. That's played back to him. There's no run. Played back to him by Vince. And he could be over this over. Oh. He comes down the pitch, launches it over the top, and is that going to be 6? It is not. Yes, it is. It's 6. So 5 more required to win. You better take over in case he does that again.
Wow, that's interesting as well with the deep mid on. Vince has backed himself there. I think he's just treating this as warm up now for Edgbaston on Saturday. Superb shot that was. Big hit. Backed himself to get it well over that fielder at the far end of the ground. Here comes Mosley then, and Vince leaves that one alone outside of the off stump. 86 for 2, then 5 needed.
I'll take it back when the 9 wickets down.
Okay. I'll hand it back to you about 3 o'clock when Hampshire have scored 3 in the next 2.5 hours. Reverse sweep, Vince, and it's just over the head of the fielder. It's racing away, but not far enough to get to the rope. But it'll be 2 more to James Vince. That's his 3rd reverse sweep in this innings. I'm sure it's 3 more than I've ever seen him play. But anyway, 2 more to the total means Hampshire need another 3. We will finish before lunch here. I'm sure we will. Although we won't, of course, if Hampshire lose a few wickets. But 88 for 2 now. Vince moves on to 21. That's come off just 14 deliveries. As Moseley comes in again from that pavilion end. Vince just pushes out on the offside. They don't take a single. There's nobody out in the covers. Ball didn't travel too far, or wasn't far enough away from Michael Burgess, who trotted to it, but could have raced to it, and that would be interesting if they'd taken a single. They decided to play defensively there. Down the leg side, Vince tried to tick that away and just gets a little bit annoyed himself. He missed that. So that's the end of the over, so we're dragging it out for a little longer. 8 runs off that Moseley over. 2 for 20 he has. Sorry, 2 overs for 20, I should say. 88 for 2. Vince has 21. Gubbins has 16. Those 2 wickets that have fallen. Ian Holland for 10. And then Felix Organ for 41. 51 and 55, those 2 wickets fell out. And this might be the end of this over. You would think, especially as Danny Briggs has conceded 46 off 7. I don't see a maiden anytime soon, but you never know. It's Gubbins to face as Briggs comes in. Gubbins off the back foot, finds the gap through extra cover. I don't think this is going to be more than 2. They run too quickly. Going to turn for 3. No, they aren't. So we're going to have a little bit more cricket left in this game with Hampshire on 90 for 2. The scores in the game are level after 4 innings, and Hampshire just need 1 more to win this game. Danny Briggs is saying, everybody come up. There's no point in anybody being on the boundary. I think that was Alex Davis having a chat with, I think that's Hampshire's head of cricket there, Giles White, out there at deep square leg. Alex Davis makes his way up now on the leg side, and here's Danny Briggs, bowls to Gubbins, who sweeps, misses, hits him on the pad. No run there. Danny Briggs still has 4 balls left in this over. Everybody up saving 1. There is a slip and a short leg in. James Vince is just... Well, he was going to have a chat with Vince, with Gubbins, but...
Discuss tactics.
Yeah, he's doing something, but he's decided to go back again. There's Briggs. Is it going to be this ball? Briggs bowls, Gubbins forward. Forward defensive. Not taking any chances there. Just keeping us a little bit in suspense here. But Hampshire have gone about this chase very quickly. We're only in the 16th over. There's Gubbins on the back foot, steers that to Alex Davis at square leg with no run. 90 for 2 the score remains. 2 balls left in this over if the win is to come in this over. But we've got plenty of time before lunch, so that is going to happen. Oh, he's wrapped on the pad there. Briggs sort of asks for LBW. In fact, that was a polite shout from Danny Briggs. I think he was just outside the line there, Nick Gubbins. But did definitely bite out of the rough. Briggs not convinced that it did enough. Comes in again then. Last ball of this over. Bowls, Gubbins forward. And it's not coming in this over because that's just ballooned out off the pad to point. And that is Briggs, you would think, done for the game. 8 overs, 1 for 48. Hampshire 90 for 2. Need just 1.
Well done, Danny Briggs, giving the supporters a little bit more value for money.
Yes.
That's nice. Over in.
It's nice of him, wasn't it?
And Moseley, you'd have to think this is probably going to be it. But, they're not rushing so much now. I wonder whether the umpires are giving them the nod that they're going to be okay.
Here we are then. Moseley bowls to Vince. Everybody up. And Vince tries to hammer that away on the leg side. He's wrapped on the pad. That looks close. Just going down the leg side, but only just. That was a length ball. Vince trying to hammer that away through mid-wicket.
Would have been a nice scalp for Dan Moseley, wouldn't it?
Just as the scores are level in the game. Moseley comes in again and bowls. He's fired that one. He gets wrapped on the pad there again, Vince. The last 2 balls from Moseley have been quite quick, actually. I think the first one surprised Vince. I don't think he's going to be tossing it up, the youngster. Not if the first 2 balls were anything to go by. Vince gets a length ball. Quite happy just to play that quietly back to the bowler. So that's about 9 balls now, isn't it, where we've not had a run. Moseley again, bowls. Vince again gets a length ball, which he plays back to the bowler. These are really speared in from Moseley.
That's good professional stuff, this from Warwickshire. Give him credit.
Yeah, just keep your standards up. No, don't just toss it up and give it away. Moseley bowls again. Again, it's fired in. Vince works that through mid-wicket. They're coming through for a single, and that is it. 91 for 2, and Hampshire win this game by 8 wickets. and that is their 6th championship win of the season. And briefly, they will go top of the Championship Division 1, and that is a very, very convincing win for the home side.
Yeah, I think Warwickshire really lost it in their first innings with the bat. Even though they only made 26 more in the second innings, they showed more fight in the second innings, but the damage done by then. It's a very, very strong Hampshire attack. And if you're going to win championships, that's probably the most important thing. You have a strong attack. And Hampshire have clearly got that. So problems for Warwickshire, 2nd defeat in 3 matches, 3rd defeat of the season, only the 1 victory. They are not exactly in the relegation mire, but they're not safe either. And so I want to get something from the remaining 5 games. Done all right today, Warwickshire. Prolonged their innings. Got a couple of wickets, but it's never been in doubt today. So well done, Hampshire, and thank you to Hampshire and everyone for their hospitality over the last 3.5 days. See you again next season, and good luck on finals day.
Thank you very much, Clive. We've enjoyed having you. Hope you've enjoyed the coverage, both on BBC Online and also on the live picture feed. But as the players leave the field here, a very, very good win for Hampshire. And Hampshire next in action, as he says, on the finals day, and they will be going to Cheltenham next Tuesday. See you then.